see if I don't trip over myself. There we go. How's everybody this evening? Christmas Day, or in some parts of the world, it's past Christmas Day, right? And welcome to the Heartfire Chronicles in my part of the world, it's December 25th. Well, there's still a little bit of it left, right? It's going to be different tonight than what it was last night if you had tuned in. And I've got Instagram going as well tonight. And yes, season greetings, Linda. We're going to talk, if you saw the title, it's called The Alchemy of Rising. And you might wonder, what the devil am I going to talk about tonight, right? So as I look up and down, because, well, Instagram decided to play nice tonight. Hi, Instagram. Hi, Rosie. And all of those up here on Facebook. So if you get tired of portrait mode on that of Instagram, come up over to Facebook. It is the same ID, just it's in horizontal. It's all a choice, right? Everything's about choices, isn't it? Everything. All about choice. Where we are in this moment of rising. This is the talk for tonight. What is rising? We've heard about the sacred feminine and the rise of the sacred feminine and the descent of the sacred masculine, right? Turmeric golden milk. Wow. Gary looking smart. Hi, Rosie. It's all up and down tonight. And a couple of conversations that went on today that sparked, I wasn't going to go live tonight. I was just going to have a moment of solitude. Yes, it's my Christmas is solitude, and that's okay. It is what it is. And I'm enjoying this space with self. What is this essence of self and self-love and self-respect? And also spirituality of the self. And what is it to rise above? Rise above. Good evening, Moon. Yes, and there are some beautiful souls. Please share it out. Get more in here, because we're going to have we're going to raise the heat a little bit. So if you're in a warm part of the world, you might want to open up your windows. If you're in a cold part of the world, well, we're going to raise your heat. But not heat in the sense of, sweat. Heat in the sense of inside, heart. What is this heart energy? What is this spirit energy that we have? How do we embrace it? How do we look at where we are in this aspect of alchemy? Not dismay, not panic, not anxiety, but in this aspect of alchemy of self. I was asked a number of questions today, and it's been a busy one, considering that it's Christmas and everybody is, maybe you're still suffering from what you ate yesterday, or maybe you ate enough today that you don't want to look at what's going to be left over for tomorrow. Who knows? But where are you in the here and now? Are you here with you? Are you with self? Are you sharing space with a loved one, a child, maybe an animal? And this ability to rise above. We rise in the morning, right? We get up and we start our days. But where are you in the risen self? What happened to my finger? I'll get into that one. Okay? And actually, it will be a good topic, because I'll talk about how I use the elements of the earth to heal it without having to go and see some doctor and put a needle in it and stitch it up. And I'll take the bandage off and I'll show you. Because actually, in a couple of days, it's healed itself by using elements of the earth. And to get back where we're going with this rising, what is the alchemy of rising? How many have heard the terminology phoenix? A fuzzy cat, lovely squash, sweet potatoes, and a bit of Now you're making me hungry, Linda. It's boring cooking for the self. It is. I love cooking, but to cook just for myself, it's boring. So I keep it simple. Maybe that's a easier way of looking at it. What is a phoenix? Does anybody know? Has anybody heard the terminology, you rise like a phoenix? It is based upon some old world knowledge and old world beliefs that we need to pass through this darkness in order to rise. We cannot rise into this openness, into the willingness to be stronger with self without passing through darkness. It is a bird, but it's a beautiful bird in theology and mythology as well. It means we rise out of the ashes. Yes, Linda. We rise above where we've come from, where we've been, where the yesterdays took us, the dismays, whatever may have happened in the past is part of our wisdom. It always will be. No matter if we don't want to see it, it's still part of our wisdom. We've needed to see darkness in order to understand light, the divinity, not God, not demons, but in order to rise above in strength of spirit. That means that we can stand above. The contrast that we need contrast of darkness in order to be in a path of enlightenment. Because if not, honestly, it's going to be boring. It would be. It can't be too good. Come on. Do we want a perfect world where there is no pain? I don't think so. Pain is part of how we grow. It's part of how we learn to understand that we don't need to hurt another or self in order to be well with the self. Our shadow work takes us back into our yesterdays, facing our fears, facing the dismays, facing the pain of the brokenness of heart, brokenness of spirit. When we've hit this area of darkness, we have two choices. We can stay down and turn to ash, or we can rise above and see what life is. Because now we can be free of what holds us back. This is the rising of a phoenix. We rise above to see that our yesterdays do not hold us back. They empower us to fly higher, freer, more conviction of where we are in truth of self. This is how I've come to learn it. I wouldn't know what I know today if I didn't pass through darkness, if I didn't pass through trials and traumas. And many of them are horrific stories. We all have a story. We all have something that has brought us to where we are now in our life. Every one of you. Yes, see it as a child for the first time. You can wake every day and see the day as a child for the first time. Can you not? Good evening, Angel. It's nice to see you again. This shadow work is part of understanding ourselves. It is not some fancy philosophy. It's not some spiritual guru method. It's the alchemy of self. Each and every one of us has this power within us. You don't have any horrific stories. Okay, but nobody pulled your hair when you were in school, or maybe pointed a finger at you in judgment. Horrific doesn't have to be something that's out of the box. Horrific can be a little gesture that has hurt. Because it is horrific to be hurt. It's horrid. Nobody likes to be hurt. Even if you step on my toe, I don't like to be hurt. This is part of our story. When we journey back, we can look at everything that we've done in life. Everything. It's all here. There's a memory. It's registered. Everything. Everything you've seen, everything that you've heard, everything that has been shown to you is registered. And sometimes we block out things that hurt us. This blockage is a trigger. It can come forward in a moment of stress where now you're in a situation that it's stressful and there's an old memory there that ends up amplifying your emotional part of who you are. This is where this understanding of emotional intelligence comes in, to be able to use balance of mind with balance of heart. The heart hurts. The mind has an action. Yes, if we overprotect, we don't go anywhere. We isolate. Very well said, Dari. This is a sense of how protective we can become where we pull away from life. Because we're not protective anymore. We're living in fear. Are we not? If you overprotect, it's because you're fearful of life. You're fearful of taking the unknown path, of walking into the unknown. We would rather walk into everything that we know and repeat and keep on repeating until we learn maybe that's not what we should be repeating. This is part of this alchemy of rising. It's not to say that I've risen and I'm over and done. No, you keep rising. True. The mind does put a lot of this out of place. Hi, nice to see you, Libetta. Yes, the mind is very protective. It wants to bury things that the heart needs to express. If you've been hurt and you push it down and bury it, have you dealt with it? No. It's holding you back. It's not allowing you to have true freedom of spirit. Freedom of spirit means I've let go of all of that. I've seen it, I've addressed it, I'm aware of it. As much as somebody asks me, well, how come I don't talk about the rabbit holes? Well, we'll talk a little bit about the rabbit holes, okay? If you want to believe in the essence of, for an example, demons, do they exist? I believe they do. We create our own demons because we manifest the demon in our mind. This can become or come from a source of trauma. It can come from a source of fear, panic, something that we've been taught that we do not want in our life. And then we manifest a demon. This is one way where the mind is extremely powerful. But do demons exist outside of the mind? Maybe that's a question for every one of you out there. Do you believe in demons? Do you believe in darkness and believe in Satan or the devil? This is a question or perspective that every person has in freedom to see how you want to see. If you ask me, do I believe in demons? I will say yes. If you ask me if I believe in the devil, I will say yes. If you ask me if I believe in God, of course, because I believe in a higher power. So if I use the term God, because I address this entity as a God because they are more powerful than I am. They can do things that I cannot do. So my higher power is part of life. And yes, I hear you. You believe in a good angel on our shoulder, a bad one who whispers good things and the other bad into our ears. It is possible, Rosie. If we are susceptible in an emotional outpour, we lower our vibrancy. lowering our vibrancy frequency is a field of protection. When it's very low, we're open to other entities. We are open to other entities coming to us. Whether they come from within, whether they come from below, or whether they come from above. I've had many experiences in life where I've seen things that my mind cannot understand. But what I'm seeing is truth. Have I seen possession? Yes, I have. I've seen what it does in many different ways. Possession of a demon can be from within. We're in self-sabotage. We are demonic with self because we've lost love of self. We've turned it into hate. We've turned it into anger. We've turned it into sabotage. And we allow the mind to spin out. We allow the heart to be let go. We're no longer addressing heart, we're addressing mind and demons. And we walk into them in every which way. Can you have an angel on your shoulder that whispers good things? Sure. Your inner child is an angel. Always has been. Because it's pure of spirit. It's pure of heart. It's pure of innocence. It's angelic, this inner child, just as a child is angelic. A child that is born is an angel. They are unpolluted. They are not programmed. They are free of spirit. They're living until we have programmed them into seeing something else. This is part of where spirit is coming back to this alchemy of rising, is to rise above the negativity. It's easy to fall into negativity. It's so easy because it's easy to be fed by it. Why is it that it's harder to be positive? It's not harder. It's a matter of the perspective, matter of the attitude, matter of your verbos. If you drive down the highway and beep your horn at everybody because you want to go faster, then maybe you should get off the road because you're not going to get there any faster. You might get there faster, but you might hurt somebody in doing so. Do you know what the frequency of the bass bumpers give? That is a low frequency. So are they good or bad? Depends on where you are with your energy. If your energy is low, it's going to amplify a lower energy. If your energy is high, it's going to also amplify a higher energy. It's all a matter of where you are in your space. It can be either or, good or bad, Joanne. It's goes either way. There's no in between, but it does go either way. Makes me feel like, really interesting. That's an interesting way to look at it, Joanne. We're the warrior of our own spirit, are we not? Are we not warriors? We are warriors within, as much as we're warriors when we step out. But the choice is, are you a warrior of pain and trauma, or are you a warrior of truth? There's a difference. I tend to be a warrior of truth. I speak truth. I'm blunt. I'm direct. And sometimes I won't say anything because it's not going to make a difference. You have to do the process to see it for yourself. As much as I know that you may be walking into a wall, you have to be able to hit the wall. I'm not going to hit the wall for you. Victoria. Wow. It's nice to see you, beautiful one. Instagram. Facebook, Gemini night. This aspect of this alchemy, direct, blunt, beautiful. Not all the time, Rosie. Sometimes by being direct, we can be harmful because what we're saying is truthful, yes, and it hurts. Am I a warrior of light or darkness? Interesting. Both. there's a reason why it's both. I'm a warrior for the fight of light, meaning to bring light forward. But I'm also a warrior to take the darkness away, to take the negativity away, to push this side of it away from me. Yes, so I'm a warrior for both, whether it's light or whether it's dark. The darkness will enforce this essence inside of me to fight for truth, to fight for spirit, to fight for freedom. Not to fight to harm, but to fight to be in truth of self. I don't need somebody to tell me if I'm truthful or not. I know. So if I use verbos, I know, and yes, I understand. And it's taken it in the aspect to say, how do we fight? How are we the warriors? Do you choose to be the warrior of light, or do you choose to be a warrior of darkness? We need to have both, I believe. And this is where I was going. In order to rise, we have to be able to have fought in the darkness, to see it, to grow from it, to learn what we do not want, and to stand strong to make sure that it's not repeated again. We are the captains of our own boat. Nobody tells us which way to pilot that boat. You choose your waters. You choose your storm. So if you're choosing storms all the time, step back. Understand why you're choosing the storm. Is there something that you're trying to prove? Are you trying to become stronger because of it? Or are you, as we say sometimes in English, a sucker for punishment? Because we just want to keep sabotaging ourselves by repeating the same dark choices. The essence of choosing between is the truth that you have within, to rise above. As an example, Rosie, you asked me what I did to my finger. Well, here's an example when we're not in the moment of awareness. So I was working with hand tools, and I'm very good with tools. I'm very good with manual dexterity of using my hands. But I was in my mind thinking of something that was a yesterday memory, and I wasn't paying attention. And because of that, well, it took a chunk out of my finger. That was 2 days ago. And it took a pretty nasty chunk out. And one of the things that I have the privilege is to be able to work with earth medicines. So I took the bandage off, and just to show, there's a good chunk out of the end of it that most would have gone to see a doctor and had a stitch done. I didn't. Old world alchemy, old world knowledge, by applying pressure, for one, stop the bleeding. Two, by using a very special essential oil called immortal or auriculism, or also known as everlasting. It's a very, very powerful healing oil. So there's lots of essential oils that a lot of people are not aware of. That's one of them. And by applying it immediately, it's sealed. I've actually taken chunks of fingers off peeling potatoes. We learn, right? Yeah, so that's the whole process of making mistakes. If we've made a mistake, then we have to learn from it. And it is an interesting name. Where can we get these oils? Well, one, you can get the oils from me. Even though you're on the other side of the world, I can ship oils to you. Okay? So if you're looking for something very particular, I can find it for you, if I don't have already in my possession. To go back to this essential oil, Rosie, why it's called everlasting, or immortal in French, or auriculism. It's a very, very special essence that has been known for hundreds, if not thousands of years. We knew it as an herb that would be applied as a poultice. So in a time that we would injure ourselves, we would actually use the full herb with some leaves and put it on top. And it was a makeshift bandage, but a poultice that would pull out any infection and help the healing process. The reason it has the name immortelle in French is because it's a very lasting flower. Even when we cut it and we put it into water, it lives for a very long time. The name of the plant is Auriculism. That's its botanical name. Immortelle is French. Everlasting is English. So the reason it was given this is because it's a flower representative of immortal. I know they don't sell it in pharmacies. The pharmaceuticals don't want you to know this medicine because it's readily available to us in many of the places that we live. Auriculism comes from the country of Mostar, which is part of the Ukraine or part of the Russian Empire, and it's a beautiful country. It truly is. The landscape and the environment is very, very beautiful for growing very potent essential oils from plants. Go ahead and cut the tip. I've got lots of little scars on me, even for walking in trees. I always say, be careful with a tree. Respect it. If you don't, it's going to let you know that you didn't respect it. It will. Believe me. You're either going to get a twig that's going to snap you in the face, or something's going to happen that tree has said, you didn't respect me. It happens. Nature is alive, remember? It has a life, and it has a will. And somebody can say, well, how does a tree have a will? Close your mind, open your heart, listen to the tree. Listen to the plant. Yes, it was. But you know what? It still hurts, right? I've been bitten by cats a couple of times. You play with them wrongly, they get... That's my side. You know, some men of us, we play with animals a little bit too rough, and what happens is, well, they fight back. Just like humans do. Part of this topic for tonight was this alchemy of rising. And something else I'm going to go into this as we're going forward here. What is it to be a risen feminine or a risen masculine? Mental stress, thinking I might have rabies. Maybe part of programming, Rosie. Something that we've been taught to believe in. That if we get bit by an animal, there's a possibility of rabies. Yes, there is. The mushrooms communicate. Yes, they do, Joanne. Mushrooms communicate with the roots of the trees, communicate with the mosses, communicate with the lichens, communicate with the plants, communicate with the flowers, communicate with the birds, the butterflies, the bees. They have a very complex language from our perspective, but they don't have a complex language from their perspective because they're part of life. That's the difference between all other life and humans. All other life is in the fluidity of life. They're in the evolution of life. We humans want to try and control life. Do we not? We want to try and control other humans and countries and politics and corporations and all of the stuff that is a corrupt world today, because we're trying to control and dominate and conquer. Part of the toxicity that has existed in the past. The rise of the sacred feminine versus the rise of the sacred masculine. Part of the alchemy of rising. What is it to rise as a sacred feminine? What is it to rise as a sacred masculine? Where are we placed in a world today when we're fighting between masculine and feminine, cultures and creeds, countries and counties, provinces and the rest of the world? We've lost sight of this. What it is to be truly a sacred human sacred man, sacred feminine. The understanding of the duality that each of us carry. Whether you're male or female, you have both of these sacred energies inside. It's part of the balance of spirit. It's your soul. Your soul is both. It's neither one or the other. It doesn't need to be gender to be in the flux and the fluidity of this continuation of love and life. It's not needed. It's not about getting the 5D or 6D or 7D or 10D or 12D or whatever D or dimension you want to go to. It's about this fluidity of life, this cosmic connection that is below, above, and within. Nothing like open conversations, right? You know, we want to bring in these aspects of what we see in truth, to come back to what it is to be a sacred masculine. I'll speak on the behalf of the male. The sacred masculine is not about being this empowered warrior. It's about being this man of balance that understands to protect and worship. Worship women, yes. We worship you as a woman because we see you as the continuation of life. We are your protectors. We are to protect this continuation of life. We are not to, as I said last night, destroy it or harm it or try to control it. It's not also for us to put another on a pedestal, whether you're a goddess or not. In fact, we're all gods and we're all goddesses. We just have to understand what it is to be a god. To be a god is not to destroy. To be a god is to create. When we create something from nothing, we have created magic. We have done something that was thought to be impossible, but becomes possible because we believe we can. This is a godly conscious. It's not about saying, I'm God per se, but it's a consciousness of God. It's a consciousness of absolute continuation of evolution. We can evolve. We have a choice to evolve, or we have a choice to stagnate and stay where we are in the moment, being lost and fighting with things that we don't need to fight with. In a world that's fallen apart because of toxicity, not just the toxic masculinity, but also toxic femininity. It exists in both. And I'm going to open up a Pandora's box, and just bear with me. If an influencer, let's talk about the internet a little bit. If an influencer is using their body to portray selling of something, in my world, that's wrong. Why do you need to show sexuality in a world that doesn't need to see this? Why can you not have truth of what you believe in, what you're trying to sell? Do you need your body to sell this? No, you don't. And it's actually, I'm a gentleman. You know, I appreciate a body, I appreciate a woman, I appreciate a man, I appreciate sexuality. I appreciate everything that there is about being a human. But I also have morals. It's not that I'm prude. No, if I want to see your naked body, I'll ask you to see your naked body. I don't need it to be flaunted in front of me to try and sell something in a wrongful mannerism. This is a toxic character. And it may go against what some people believe. That's fine. That belongs to you. But what belongs to me is to see the truth in it. I don't need to see this in order to understand the beauty if it's a good product. And I think it is sad that we're using this image of a body to try and make you believe that that's what you need to buy. So we fuel toxicity. No, I'm not going to follow you because you're... if that is the case, that's because they believe that, Rosie. Look, we've been programmed in many different ways. We've been programmed through pornography. We have been programmed through verbos in many ways. We've been taught the wrong way to express ourselves. We have been taught the wrong way to understand sensuality and sexuality. Where are we taught? How have we been taught in school? Even in my generation, we weren't taught how to have connection. We weren't taught how to communicate this aspect of sexuality versus sensuality. We were taught biology. Okay, so we go out and experiment. We make mistakes. We learn things that are wrongful. In my world, what I believe in, as I am as a man. And yeah, I'm a little different than many men. I'm not saying that in a sense of ego. I'm saying that in the sense of understanding of how I appreciate fellow human beings. Do I appreciate a naked body? Well, of course I do. It's art in many ways. But I'm also respectful. There's certain things I don't need to see. I truly don't. It's intimate. I don't need to know what's intimate unless I have interest of. So I don't need to have it forced into my data stream, as an example. And this is something that needs to be changed as well. If we fuel the toxicity continues. Whether it be a toxic male or a toxic female. We have to come back to, well, I don't know if I'm one in a million. I'm one. And it's things that I've learned. I've always had this appreciation of those around me. And if I don't appreciate you, it's because there's something that you've done that says, I don't want you in my life. I don't need to have your style of life, even if it's family. And I've made some rash decisions in my life. I've cut with family because of their style of life. I don't want this in my style of life. It's negative. And if it goes against my morals, I have the right to choose. It's the same thing if I'm driving in a car with you and I'm driving it in an aggressive mannerism and you become stressed. You have the right to say something so that I can hear what is going on. If not, I'm imposing something upon you that's not right. Maybe I need to hear you as the passenger to tell me, you know what, slow down, you're scaring me. And if I don't listen, then maybe I have to, as the passenger, say, you know what, pull the car over to the side of the road so I can get out and walk. Because I don't want to be stressed. I don't want the drama. Life is too short for this. It's in everything. It's a choice that we have to make. How to have healthier relationships with self, with friendships, with spirit. Yes, with spirit. How do we have healthier relationship with spirit? Acknowledge, accept, rise above the dismays and the panics and the things that are pulling into a negativity. You have the power to see. You have the power to be aware. You don't need a guru to tell you how to be aware. No. You don't need somebody to teach you how to breathe. You know how to breathe. Maybe you just forgot to breathe. Because now you're in a moment where you're hyperventilating. And if you're wearing a mask, you're hyperventilating with half the oxygen. So where's the logic? Yes, now you can go into the mind space. Where's the logic and the common sense? We are born with knowledge. even as a little tiny embryo, we are born with knowledge. It's transmuted from generation to generation to generation. Everything becomes part of it. We become part of it. We become this continuation of this life. But we also have a choice. What do we continue to take with us going forward? Do we repeat the same errors, the same mistakes, because we've been taught this? No. It's to come to self. Come to your truth within. Rise, feel where your spirit is. Believe that you have a heart, not just something that pumps blood. Come on. We have emotion. Emotion is heart. When we're hurt because somebody has hurt us, it's the heart that aches and the mind that pounds. This pounding that happens up here is because the heart is pounding. Good evening from Queensland, Australia. Good day or good evening. Hello, Donna. Wow. Australia, Edmonton, and where everybody else has got Dubai. Have we got all 4 parts of the world? Can you imagine that if we bring everybody together, like we're just done right now, in unity, how we can change the world? How we can rise together on this risen phoenix and stand above and make change? Why do we wait for the governments to make change? They're not going to make change for us. They're going to make change for them because they want control, right? There isn't a politician out there that doesn't want control. They get on the phone and talk to another person in the other country and they want their country. That's control, domination. One rebel poet saying hello from Arizona. Good evening, a rebel poet from Arizona. It's unbelievable. Toronto. Calgary. Wow. Welcome the world. If you're all tuning in, you've tuned in because maybe something drew you here. Maybe somebody shared a word. Maybe somebody said, why not? I got nothing else. Good evening, Lisa. It's this ability for us to come together. Washington. Wow. Just look at this. I'm going to sit back and watch as everybody's telling me where they're coming from. This to me is exciting. Because I'm reaching out to people that I've never met in person, but yet I feel that I have. I've connected with you in a way that you're connecting with me. And if you were listening in last night when this one piece of music came on, we didn't just connect. The vibration here in my place, I could swear that the roof was almost coming off the house. This energy that I could feel, because I could feel emotion, even if it's through a camera. This is energy. Energy transmits in many, 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 many ways. As the energetic beings that we are, when we tap into full power of spirit, it's unbelievable. I saw a handsome man on just insert flattery. Excuse me for a second. You brought emotions up. I had to tough that one out. Flattery. You searched me out, did you? Well, I'm out of hiding, so to speak. It's unbelievable what one instance can do to being hidden for such a long time. And what I mean by being hidden is that I chose to not be in the limelight, so to speak. of all the opportunities that I've had throughout life, I chose to be in the background because I felt that nobody was willing to hear what I had to say or understand what I had to say. And it's only been over the last 2 years that I've started venturing out further and further and further and speaking and sharing in story, sharing in experience and in wisdom, and in trying to help all see this value of the life that we walk upon. Many of you know I've spoken about it. I work with the essences of the earth. That's part of it. But I also work with the spirituality of the earth and understanding who she is as a living entity. And having respect for her also gives me the ability to have respect for other humans. I respect all humans until you prove me wrong. It's not for me that decides I don't trust or don't respect you. It's you. And I choose. I choose whether or not you are to be part of my journey or part of my heart space. There's a difference. I can hold heart space for you. Yes, because I don't own it. I'm curating your journey. But if I've brought you in to be part of my journey, it's because you walk with me, not behind me, not in front of me. You walk with me in togetherness, in unity, with a common goal to change the world. It's not rocket science. To rise above the garbage is a choice. To decide not to follow a politician is a choice. Do we need a politician to tell us what's right and wrong? Do we truly need this? Do we truly need a law that says it's not right to kill? We know it's not right to kill. We know it's not right to harm, to maim, to abuse, to manipulate, or to do any of the atrocities that we're all aware of. We have a choice. Thank you, Donna. Thank you for becoming part of the family in many ways. We're all connected, every one of us. We're connected to the earth. We're connected to the animals, the aves, the mammals. We're connected to the cosmos. There's this universal connection of life that we belong to. And even if you believe in aliens and lizard people, or crocodile people, or fish people, who knows, maybe there's an alien that looks like a koi fish. It's possible. Yeah, it's a little bit of sarcasm in many ways. I can't say I don't believe because I haven't seen it. So I can say that the benefit of the doubt exists. That I also understand that there's life above the earth. There's also life below the earth. There's life in the earth. There's life all around us. The wind is life. A tree is life. A child is the purest of life from humans. You as a female, you are a gift to us as humans. To worship you is to not idolize you. To worship you as a woman is to recognize you for your strength. Recognize you for the gift that you give of life. We men, what do we do for the rest of our life? We try to, excuse the expression, we try to crawl back in where we came from, where we were birthed from. It's part of a connection. We are connected to this essence of femininity. this essence of woman, this essence of beauty. As a woman, you are truly beautiful. But a man is truly beautiful as well. But we've been short-circuited, because in many ways, and even the female has been short-circuited. How many of our understandings and beliefs and programations have been, well, the woman stays at home, you cook, you clean, look after the children, the man goes to work, and so on and so on and so on and so on. And now in today's world, we both go out and work because we can't survive on one salary, because the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer. So we both go to work, we come home, and we're supposed to have a relationship. How is that possible? Seriously. Especially if you're going to work at something you do not like to do. Now you carry frustration from your professional relationship, you bring it home. And then your partner, who has been waiting for you, maybe cooked a meal, or maybe just in anticipation because they needed a hug. And we walk in the door with the dismay of our job, and we have a frown, and we're angry and negative, and the other just wants us to smile, as much as I want every human to smile. To see you walking towards me in anger, I smile, until I can't smile any longer. Sometimes I can't smile because I'm faced by the aggressor, and I have to stand strong to not be in harm's way. It's a choice. If I look back at my yesterdays of where I've been hurt, does it mean I'm going to get hurt again? I don't know. You're enjoying yourselves. If you don't cover, no charge, no price, no one pays. Still curious about that. Just a minute. I'm going to go and accept. I'll go back to some of the comments because I don't want to scroll too much, because man's masculine separates from the feminine female when it's all intertwined. True. It does, Jesse, because what have we been taught as men? We've been taught as men to not be sensitive, when it's the opposite. We need to be sensitive. If we want to truly understand a woman, we need to be sensitive. We need to embrace emotion, vulnerability. Because if we don't understand emotion and vulnerability, we're never going to understand a woman and their emotion. Yeah, sometimes there's drama. It goes both ways. Well, it's not hard to figure that out. If one is trying to bring through the emotion of needing to be heard and the other does not want to be heard, drama is created. Dismay is imposed. Abuse and aggressivity through verbose or physical is possible. It all transmutes. This is the transmutation from spirit into mind. We've been programmed to react one way. Heart is telling us to react another way. As a man, I grew up, where can I go to cry? And when I did, I was bullied because of it. I was looked down upon. I was told that I'm not being a man because I shed a tear. Really? I think that's pretty sick. Anybody that tells me that today, and even then, back then as a child, if you told me that it's wrong to cry, you know what? You could beat me to the ground, but I still had a word to say, and I didn't stop shedding my tear. I've never ever held on to my emotional dismay. The wish is love. 11:11. 1 hour into where I started. 1 hour into this alchemy of rising. How do we rise? Reach within. Reach to heart. Reach to understanding that as a human, regardless of gender, You have a heart. You have a soul. You have a spirit. Embrace it. Embrace your emotion. Don't hold on to it. Embrace it. Live it. And if we need to share it, share it. But share it from the I, this sight, I, not singularity in the word I. Singularity in the word I is more of ego. But when I speak from how I see myself, I'm not speaking from ego. I'm speaking from truth of what I see within. Just as you can. Just as everybody can. This is part of the awakening. It's to rise above our yesterdays. It's to rise above being empowered to create a better world, not just for us elders, but for the children, for today, for tomorrow, and generations to come. How many are at this stage where they don't want to bring children into the world? I can understand that. But the way the world is right now, that's a hard decision. Do I want to bring somebody into the world? Do I want to bring a soul into the world to face what is going on? No, I don't. But that doesn't mean I don't want to help the children that are already here. And to help the children that are already here is to not to tell them how to live. It's to guide and help them. I do too, Rosie, because I can see things. And I think we all can see things. We see what's going on in the world. But many of us, we don't do anything. We just watch. We wait for the decision to be made. Yet we have the power to make decision. We have the power to change. I worry about every child, Catherine. When I walk down the street and I see a child that's playing, I see life. I see joy. I see purity. I see innocence. They are in the gift of life. They are just in the moment. Just like you and I can. Yeah, it has, Dari. This is why we have to reset the database. This reset is not a global money reset of the way that the system is working. It's a reset of everything that we've learned. It needs to be rebirthed. We need to be the birthers of the rebirth. We as the elders, you as whatever age you are in this era, you have the power. We all do. Why do we wait for others to do it? Thing is, Dari, we'll always be children. In this universe, we'll always be children. Look at the size of the universe. Look at the inner universes. It's okay to be a kid forever, Dari. Do you not want to enjoy life? Look at when the inner child comes out. When you let this inner child come out and play, life is easier. Everything that I try to do, I take it from a sense I'm being playful with it. Whether I'm building something, creating something, whether I'm talking, whether I'm associating, I'm having a game with it. Not a game to try and win, but a game to let it play out. and be part of it. It's not a check game. The elite play a game of chess. I play a game that is sharing. I play a game where I decide to smile or cry. This is a game of emotion, not of manipulating my emotion to manipulate another. It is to use my emotion wisely, to use and understand that my emotion is part of spirit, part of soul, part of the divinity within me. I don't need to look above to see God. I don't need to look below to see Satan. These two are within me. I can choose to be a demon, or I can choose to be an angel. It's a choice. And sometimes we go between the two of them. Sometimes the devil comes out within. Yes. Look at the world around. Sometimes it's the angel that comes out in the sacrifice of the self. We are children, always will be. I think that Charlie Freeman said we should not be calling the children's kids. Yes, I can agree with that. Calling a kid is one thing, but a child is a child. We are children. I'm not a kid, no, but I am a child. I'm a child when I look at the size of this universe. How can I think that I'm not a child? I'm still growing. I'm still learning. Even if I think, even with all the things that I know nothing. Because there's still more to learn, still more to see. I can walk into the forest today and see something. I can walk in the forest tomorrow, the same path, and I will not see the same thing. It's impossible. The tree has evolved. The grass has evolved. Everything has evolved in that park space. Everything. It changed. In fact, it changed every second that I was there. But I'm flowing with it. It's a choice that I take, just as you take a choice in the interaction that you have with others. It's always a choice. To rise is to embrace this spirit and to choose wisely. You have the knowledge. Everything that you've been taught is knowledge. Unravel it. Let go of all of this. Very true, Jesse. Purity of spirit, purity of heart, purity of acknowledgement of your soul energy. There is no Satan. There is no demon. Because a demon and Satan cannot control love. They cannot stop it. They've tried for eons. It is the one thing that they cannot destroy, is the truth of love, no matter what. To face a demon with love, the demon will run. To face the demon with aggressivity, he's going to eat you. Because you're in his way. The more negative you are, the more that you will be easily targeted for more negativity. There's an old saying that says about the more optimistic you are, the more that the goodness will come, the more that good people will show, the more that good deeds will become present through optimism, not pessimism. Everything has the ability to be better. Everything. No matter what, it has a choice to be better. Yes, the law of attraction, optimism, belief in self. Being respectful is part of the law of attraction. Being courteous is part of the law of attraction. Being present is part of the law of attraction. When you're present, you're able to be the gift of self to another. It's a choice, something that each and every one of us has, even if you believe that you're a lizard person. You still have a choice. I've held lizards in my hands. They haven't bit me. They had the choice. Just a little touch in the rabbit hole. Somebody asked me today if I believed in aliens. Of course. But why do I call them an alien? Maybe they have another name. They come from another planet. We call them an alien because that's the only terminology we can find. But does it mean that life doesn't exist outside of our planet? Of course it does. Anybody that thinks it doesn't, it belongs to them. I could say something else, but I won't. Got to keep some things for myself. But do I believe in aliens? Yes, I do. Do I believe that they walk on the earth? I haven't met one face to face, so I can't say yay or nay. But I can say the possibility exists. When I look at what is put throughout the internet, as a digital artist, that's another one of my talents. I know how to manipulate photos and art and film and everything. I can make anybody into looking like a demon very easily. It's very easily to manipulate a video overlay to change so that you can see something that's not true. So don't believe everything that's put before you. Yes, you're right, Linda. They do prefer to be seen as advanced beings because they are. They look at us and what we're doing and they watch patiently. Because they know if they show us certain things, we won't use it wisely. Let me go down a few rabbit holes. Maybe just one. In every pyramid in the world, it's a magical entry point. There's something that has transpired in every one of these pyramidal structures throughout history. To a certain point where technology was brought forward, was used wrongly. And what happened to the histories of these peoples where these great pyramids were, was that the technology destroyed them because they didn't use it wisely with purpose. So as an advanced being that is up on another planet that knows that he has something that can help save us, would he be willing to share it with us in the world that we have right now, where there's greed, control, and all of the corruption because we want to own something? No, nobody is a lowly advanced being. We are all in an evolutionary process. We're all evolving with life. In time, we will be just as advanced as anybody else. But we are intelligent species. Are we the most intelligent species? No. That would be pretty naive to think that we are the only intelligent species in this universe, in this cosmic universe. And yes, Rosie, I do believe just as much as you do. If we can believe in an angel, then a demon can exist as well. There are the fallen ones. Sometimes we don't have heart. It's possible. And we fall into the darkness, and we become part of the darkness. There's lots of things that we are somewhat aware of because we have an old knowledge. We have something that comes way, way, way back through the evolution. There is a memory. There's many things that we do as humans today that comes back from generations before. many of us understand crystals and the power that crystals have and how we can use it to amplify energy. I work with crystal technology, the pyramid and the eye pyramids, and how that uses the power of crystals and energy. And it generates an energy field around us. So we have technology, yes, but there is also technology that hasn't been shown to us again by more advanced cultures, because we're not ready for it. We're too volatile in the corruption of where the world is. To show us something that is extremely powerful, what would happen? Truly, do you think that Trump would use it wisely or take ownership and control of it to manipulate? Because he's a power monger. Every politician is. And that may go against what you believe in. That doesn't belong to me, that belongs to you. I see it for what it is. I see how a politician can strike that volatile side of anger. And angry people follow angry people. It amplifies while the other stuff is going on. So if a politician is amplifying one side of it, he's doing something else. This is not the way to have a world that is in unity. No, it's not. I believe in this phrase: one world, one peoples, one love. This is what I believe in. This is what I try to show. This is how I live my life. One world, one peoples, one love. I don't see color, creed, or language. Even your belief belongs to you. You're entitled to your belief. But don't try and convince me that your belief is truth. I will listen to you. Share and learn. As I've learned from so many different cultures. From the indigenous peoples to the shamans from the Andes, to the shamans from Mexico, to children. They've all taught me something, and still do, and still will. So enough for tonight. Enough of the Heartfire Chronicles. And one wish for tonight, in the end of it, is when you go to bed tonight, one world, one peoples, one love. Why can't we go to our own place away from that? We need to come together, Joanne. That's why. If we come together as peoples, one peoples, can you imagine the power that we have? All peoples. Yeah. I'm not going to touch on one, Linda. Yeah. Some of us feel that we're superior. We're not. No color is superior. No language is superior. No country is superior. No. Never will be. Not in my world, and I'll never accept it. Never will. I will look down anybody who thinks they're superior to me, because they're not. Nobody is. I'm seeing them all, Jesse. I don't know why. Maybe Facebook is trying to stifle us. Who knows? Interesting. Technology. The powers to be don't want us to speak the truths. They don't want us to come together. They don't want us to unify. There isn't a military force in the world that can come together when all people stand together. I believe this. Because the soldier will look at us as humans. We're not fighting for control. We're fighting for peace. We're fighting for a better world for all. The soldier doesn't need to fight for a politician's dismay. This has always been wrong. This is what we've done to our peoples. The politician has you fight for their garbage. And then they sit and eat steak and have their toilet paper changed for them. So before I get into that conversation, I want to leave it on a happy note for tonight. On a note and a wish of love for all humans, all life, and this world. That's the Christmas wish. That's my gift of self. All of it is coming to an end, yes. There is many things that will be coming forward. Many things. Are you ready? I am. I'm not looking at the garbage that's coming forward. I'm looking at the good things that are coming forward. Because there is good. In all of everything that's going on, there is good. Because you have a soul. And a soul is good. It always is. It's pure. It's not bad. And we're all part of this soul energy that connects us all to all life. It's going to be a better world. I truly believe that. So enough for tonight. Thank you for joining in from all over the world. And all of the comments, I'm going to go at them. I will answer them as I go forward. If there's any questions, if you have any questions, if you want to reach out, please do. I've got ears. I've got technology. I can listen. I can share a story. And I can do more. So, for all of you beautiful people out there, because you truly are, have a beautiful, beautiful evening, day, morning, whatever. Be with you. Be present. Please, be the gift to you and to the world. Have a beautiful, beautiful evening, and I'll talk to you real soon. Namaste.